Hey everybody, welcome back. I got back outside again today. I know that it probably annoys you that I keep talking about it, but I try to never miss a chance to get out here and do a little bit of hiking and just enjoy the nature and the woods around where I live. I have parkland all around me, so it's a very beautiful area to get out into, even if it's a colder time of year. I had a comment on one of the other videos where somebody said, "You really believe this guy's getting out there and hiking and taking videos?" And that's just clearly, obviously green screened. And I gotta say, this is some impressive green screening right here. I mean, it kind of feels real, especially down to the fallen tree I'm sitting on right here while I'm talking to you guys. So I took that as a compliment, that I can recreate nature so much so that it would actually fool so many people. But anyway, I'm going to dive in today's subject, which is something I've been seeing popping up all over the place, the massive amounts of layoffs happening. For me personally, I've spent many, many years of my adult life actually running my own businesses. I've always, had a desire and a calling really to just be self-employed. But what I'm seeing out there is lots and lots of videos, especially younger people, but some older people too. People in their late 50s, 60s. Not that I'm calling you old. You're very experienced and you're just matured. We'll just go with that. So I've been seeing all these videos and all these stories talking about what they've been going through with all the cutbacks where basically people are just getting laid off in droves. It started, from what I understand, back in November and December and has really started to pick up to the point to where huge swaths and huge groups of people are just being laid off from companies, and they're basically being left without any recourse. Now, I am not referring to the government jobs that are being cut with the current administration here in the United States. I am referring to private sector jobs that in companies that we didn't really realize, in my opinion, over the last 4 to 5 years were actually shrinking due to a couple of factors, one of which is all the fake job postings, which up until about a year or two ago, I didn't even know that was a thing, but there have been whistleblowers coming out constantly talking about how this sort of thing's been going down. One of the whistleblowers that I was listening to, his entire job at the company that he was at was about making fake job postings, luring people in, and basically having them do interviews. They'd submit their resumes. They'd go through the whole hiring process and keep coming back and coming back. The whole time he was aware that there was really no job to fill. To the point to where he does not work there anymore. He cut ties with that company, broke away, and just couldn't do it anymore. He just couldn't do it anymore, understandably so, because anybody with any level of a conscience or an issue with that sort of thing, they're just not going to be able to continue doing that. So after watching his video where he was talking in detail about it, he was explaining some of the tax incentives, the money that you get back from the government when it looks like you've got a company that's growing. They were basically going after things like that and not caring about the fact that they were wasting the time of tons and tons of people out there that are unemployed, genuinely looking for work, and the countless hours, days, and weeks that were wasted as these people attempted to get jobs that didn't exist. And now it seems like that bubble is kind of collapsing to where they're not even trying anymore. There's probably not going to be any more government kickbacks or support for that sort of thing, especially if it looks like you are manipulating and faking your information by just putting out fake job postings. So now there's just, in my opinion, a whole collapse that is happening afterwards. I would love to hear from many of you in the comments and see whether or not you're somebody that's been a victim of this sort of thing, whether or not you're somebody who's lost your job. How did you lose it? How are you recovering from it? Because I'm curious on a level of what's really going on out there. And I think, in my personal opinion, the real barometer is out here with real people in the comments, dropping the truth about what's really going on. Because you can hear all sorts of stuff, especially mainstream media. They love to spin it every which way, entirely dependent on who is funding them. They are told what they're supposed to think. On here, we're just going to say, you guys tell me exactly what's going on. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been seeing and hearing from people, and we'll just be the boots on the ground, telling the truth about what we're really experiencing, and not allow it to be filtered by what's going on out there. Because based upon certain news sources, you wouldn't even know this sort of thing's going on. You wouldn't know that there were fake job postings to the point of 50-60% of stuff that's ending up on a lot of the jobs, sites where jobs are being listed are that fake. And I was really just utterly blown away by that. I couldn't believe, well, strike that. I could believe that sort of thing would be going on. So I'm really curious to hear from all of you. How many of you have had this issue happen where you've lost your job, you're now trying to figure out what you're going to do out there? What are some ideas and plans that you have? Do you not have any? And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way, because no one's really expecting to lose their job. How many people have a job in their back pocket that's lined up? There's no judgment there at all. I think that that's horrific. And I feel like, personally, all of us, not just in America, the Western world, anybody that, well, let's just say isn't a billionaire, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat of, we're fighting for our own survival. We're fighting against, in my opinion, government and elite overreach. We're fighting against, to some degree, the deep state. We're fighting against a corrupt system that is just basically grinding us all under the heel a little bit more and a little bit more, with everything overreaching. And you might even feel like, hey, the current administration is trying to push back against some of it. And to some degree, I actually agree with that too. But then you have to wonder how long any changes that are implemented are going to stay in place before this becomes a real problem again. How long can we push back against it? Is it even possible to find ways to create other employment opportunities, or even change our community structure to make it so that average people are thriving in communities again? One thing I have noticed and experienced with all of this is anybody that attempts to do that, there's a guy that I follow out in Arizona who's started doing, small homes, shed homes, tiny homes, other things like that, so that people can move into situations like that, attempt to get their feet back underneath them, and then maybe build back up into some form of financial stability and even thriving. And the level of pushback and struggle that he has gone through is mind-blowing. Just absolutely mind-blowing, the corruption that he's pushing against. Because if you think about it this way, he's undermining what the establishment is doing, providing a cheaper form of housing, which, if that catches on, you're not going to rent a place that's now charging double for rent than what it was 10 years ago, because you have a better option out there. And if you keep undermining those things, they don't want, in real free enterprise and capitalist, approach, that would put under anybody that is overpricing things. That would put under anybody that is offering goods and services that aren't really worth a whole lot, but way, way too expensive. So what they do is they don't allow you to undercut them and put them out of business. They figure out a way to make what you're doing illegal, essentially. They figure out a way to shut down what you're doing by hitting you with some sort of ordinance, some sort of fees, some sort of thing that you didn't do right. And they find a way to basically buy up whatever they have to do with whatever board of supervisors, local government, or state government that they have to affect to prevent that sort of thing from upending the way everything is established. And I'm referring to housing, but that works with pretty much any business. You're never going to figure out a way to get a cheaper good or service, because they're going to find a way to stop you from doing that. And that, unfortunately, when you stop that, you basically start to kill the free enterprise system that allows common people to thrive. You have to be able to have that, and when things become so corrupt that the system doesn't allow that to shift and change, that is why you end up with housing prices completely out of control, food prices completely out of control. I know gas has finally started to come down to some degree, but not just that, it affects the job market too. If you have people that are able to simplify, offer goods and services that, even if it's cheaper, if everybody else wants it, you're gonna do really well. You're gonna do really well. You'll figure out a way to beat what's currently happening. But the problem that you will run into at every single point, in my opinion, is the massive level of corruption that prevents the free enterprise system from resetting itself and allowing people that could undermine it but also make it better over time, preventing that from happening. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on that too, because I've mentioned this in a couple other videos, and it's really kind of the debate of whether or not, especially here in the United States, I think in Great Britain it's probably even worse. I've watched some content creators over there, and they are going through hell that we can't even imagine to a certain degree. But is the system too far gone to affect a change that's going to take us back the right direction, or is it going to take even more than that? I want to hear from people in the comments and see what you guys think about that. Are we too far gone for that to happen? Are we too far gone to take it back the right direction? And when it comes to the job market, let's just say addressing it right now, where we're at right now. Those of you that have lost jobs, what's your story? Who were you, what industry were you working in? What's going on with that? I want to hear all about that, and I want other people not only to hear about it, but it helps them to understand what's going on out there. There are people out there that come in and watch these videos and they're like, I've never heard of any of this stuff. I've never heard of a corrupt legal system screwing people over in divorce court because I just haven't been through it. I've never heard of really what's going on with the job market because I watch one news source and it's a mainstream media news source and they absolutely don't ever mention any of this stuff. So it helps to inform other people about what's going on. It's also, cathartic. It will help you to kind of get your story out there. And we here really can be a community that support and encourage one another. It isn't just that you share stories about something bad that happens. You can get support from other people. Other people in the comments will come in and say, hey, yeah, we totally understand. And, maybe this is an idea, or maybe this is an idea that you can engage in, or something that you could do. Sharing something bad isn't a bad thing. You can learn from those issues, and you can learn from what has happened. That can become a positive thing in the sense that you learn from it and you never repeat it in the future. That doesn't necessarily always apply with the job thing, but when it comes to especially personal relationships, which we've talked about quite a bit here on this channel, you can learn from that and end up not making some of those same mistakes. You can learn from even the job market and try to figure out maybe another source or another way of income, or something that you could do as a side hustle or a side gig or something that could begin to stabilize you so that you're never reliant on just one source. These are certainly possibilities that we could discuss in future videos, but I don't want to go too far into all of that today. One other additional topic I definitely want to throw in at the end. I've been reading about it today. I haven't had a chance to get too far into it. It's popping up all over the place in my feed. The fires in South Carolina. I'm not going to go very much into this, but I want to know, what do you all think about that? Do you think that I think somebody said there's about 170 smaller fires that seem to have erupted somewhere around and near the Myrtle Beach area, a place that's been designated as a future smart city, sort of like LA was. I'll let you connect those dots. What do you think about what's happening there? Do you think 170 or whatever fires that were described just erupted simultaneously, completely by chance? I think I'm giving away my opinion by simply the way I'm approaching this and what I'm saying with it. I think we've got some really, really dangerous stuff going on out there, and I know a lot of people are like, well, that's tinfoil hat crazy stuff. I don't care anymore, because it seems like the more the conspiracies get brought to light, the more they end up getting proven true. It does seem like that, doesn't it? So I'm going to wrap it with that today. Maybe at some point we'll continue talking about the fires going on down there, because what in the world? What in the world? What kind of a crazy world are we living in that all this stuff just keeps happening? And I have my own opinions on it. I'm sure you all do too. And I definitely am interested in hearing them. So I'm going to get walking again, and I hope you guys have a great day. If you get a chance, get out, touch grass, enjoy nature. Who knows how long we've got with all of this, with them burning everything down. So take your chance and get out there and do that. And I will see you again next time. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because I'm going to keep coming back to bug you until you do. So have a great day. I'll talk to you all soon.